I'm the artist Michael Zotos, and I'm here today to give just a little bit of a talk on a couple of experiences I have had that are represent the significance of artwork. Okay, about 2005, I was going into New York City, Manhattan, to some of the museums, and I went to the Museum of Natural History, and I went through the place. I saw, dinosaur bones and all kinds of things. And then I went to the top floor, and there was a small area with the bones of prehistoric man. And it was like a sequence of smaller ones that were supposed to be earlier in time, and it was like an evolutionary display. And overhead in the speakers, there was music being played from a flute, and you could tell it was a flute. And they had on the wall a plaque that explained this flute, which was maybe about yay big, okay, was created and used 30,000 years ago. And here we are listening to the same music, the same flute, okay, and people experienced that 30,000 years ago, and here we are today having the same experience. Well, that's the significance of art. When you put it into a tangible form that can be picked up later on, a year later, 5 years, 50, 100, 1,000, whatever it may be, people in a different situation from where you are at today can have the same artistic experience. And that's a very gratifying thing, to be a part of that world, to be someone who creates something that will be experienced in the same way sometime in the future. Now I'm going to give the second concept. Yeah. Okay, about the same time in 2005, I went into it's called the Met. It's the Metropolitan Museum, and there are artworks from various time periods historically. And I came across a wall with modern art, they called it, and there was maybe a dozen pieces of art on the wall, but it looked earlier than your usual today's modern art. And there was one particular piece that very much resonated with me. It caught my eye, okay? It was about 32 inches wide by maybe 24 high, and they called it panel. They said, I think it was like blocks on panels, something like that. Well, there were these blocks shaped in different shapes, with each one had a different color, like a deep yellow, a deep green, a deep red, okay, and they were puzzled together kind of like in a shape of a face, but not exactly. And this was someone's abstract modern art. But what interested me was that the fact that it was signed and dated 1928. Now, my father was born in 1928. So, of course, it interests me to see what somebody made the same time my father was born. I wasn't even thought of at that stage. And this piece of work, in a tangible form, was created by someone back then. Now, I recognized in the moment that we're living in '05, and the economy is very good, things are going well, okay? But in 1928, they were also experiencing good times. It was 1929 that the stock market crashed, and there were very bad, hard economic times. People died from things. It was terrible for a long time. But whoever created this piece of work did not know that was coming. They didn't expect it. No one expected the stock market to crash. In fact, people thought this economic boom was going to go on indefinitely. That's why it crashed. Okay. Well, the fact of the matter is, this piece of work stands tangible, intact, all those years through the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, World War II, the 60s. And yet here it is for me and all these people that are standing around to examine and to experience. And it just came out of someone's mind abstractly and went on the surface, and it's going to continue to be there. Now, I don't know how many people have seen it. For all I know, they could have put it under the bed the day it was made and just took it out that morning in '05. But probably tens of thousands of people have examined it, looked at it, There could be quite the story behind the artist. I don't know. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that that's a very gratifying thing to be able to be a part of that simply by making artwork. If you put enough of it out there, okay, people find them later on. They're not going to throw them away when you sign them and date them. And to be able to be a part of the culture that you know for sure is going to exist a long time into the future is a very significant thing, gratifying thing, and there's no other thing really quite like that.